Hello everyone. Program TYBA, Subject Political Science, Semester 6, Course Code POD 106, and Course Title Comparative Politics. My name is Dr. Karuna Singh. I'm an Assistant Professor at Dempe College of Arts and Science, Miramar, Goa. Today's module, we are going to take up political parties and in that, evolution of party system in United Kingdom. The outline of the course is we'll learn about the evolution of the party system and two parties and their ideologies and performances. At the end, the learning outcome would be students will be able to learn about the rise and growth of political parties in United Kingdom and understand the program and ideological basis of the parties. Evolution of party system in UK. England has the oldest and most powerful parliament in the world. The English Parliament met for the first time at the Palace of Westminster in the year 1265, but it took more than 4 centuries before the concept of political parties gave a new dimension to political life in Britain. Before the birth of political parties in the 17th century, the English Parliament consisted of aristocrats and the wealthy men who formed alliances and majorities based on specific factors or loyalties. During Elizabeth I, a group organized as the Puritans opposed the policy of religious tolerance adopted by the Queen. Since 17th century, there was an original difference between two groups. The Cavaliers or the Royalists were the supporters of Charles I, favoring the authority of the king, and the other group, the Roundheads or the parliamentarians, favored the church, supporting the cause of less influence and interference of crown in the working of the parliament. During the later part of the 17th century, with the start of the Civil War in 1642, the Roundheads aligned themselves with the army and helped the latter to, in beginning, revolt against the king. After the execution of King Charles I, they accepted the termination of the monarchy. Well, monarchy was restored again in 1660 by Charles II. He enjoyed the support of the Cavaliers. The controversy between the limiting of the powers of the king and the maintenance of status quo came to the forefront. This ultimately led to the division of number of parliamentarians into two groups, the Whigs and the Tories. The Whigs were the party that favored for the interest of the poor class of the society. They pled for the reforms and curtailment of powers of the king. The Tories supported the crown and wanted status quo, the interest of the upper strata of the society. Only after the Glorious Revolution in 1688 and the declaration of sovereignty of Parliament, the political scenario was ready for the emergence of political parties. During entire 18th century, both the parties played active part in politics. Whigs emerged as the strongest group supporting democratic reforms. Tories were subsided with their conservative approach of opposing reform. The question of reform was the reason of ideological unity for the members of both the groups. The Whigs and the Tories were the first English political parties. After the enactment of the Reform Act 1832, the Whigs were renamed as Liberals and Tories as Conservatives. The Conservatives favoured the supremacy of the Crown, the House of Lords, and the Church of England. They supported the demands of feudal nobility and capitalist and British imperialism. The leader was Disraeli, and he remained in power from 1874 to 1880, 1886 to 1992, 1895 to 1905. On the contrary, the Liberals were in support of free trades, individualism, and universal adult franchise. They favoured the middle class. The leader was Gladstone from 1868 to 1872, 1880 to 1886, 1892 to 1895. Liberals remained in power. In 19th century, latter half, the Labour Party rose to power. In 1906, there was advent of the Labour Party. They led the labour movement under the influence of the Industrial Revolution. During the 19th century, the British political system was dominated by many political parties. Thus, there was the emergence of the multi-party system in place of bi-party system. The rise of multi-party system threatened the bi-party system. In the first half of 20th century, bi-party system was restored. Decline of Liberal Party gave way for bi-party system. From that time onwards, the political power in Great Britain remained confined between the Labour Party and the Conservative Party. To conclude, the experience from the past shows that the two-party system is well suited to the political structure of Great Britain. It has also influenced on the nature of English constitutional system. It establishes an effective and efficient government. It also substantiates the old established dictum that England does not love collation. Thank you.